I just wanted to start with that press conference, and the it seemed like Trump had come back to to campaign mode, where it could be argued that that's where he feels comfortable, that combative sort of thing that he does, and that is his only way of being able to engage. He has to get into a fight with someone. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was extraordinary. Not. I didn't obviously particularly think it was very presidential. There was a lot of talk in the media about how unpresidential it was, and they were getting stuck into him and all of that. Can we really put up with this for 4 years? I mean, I know it was kind of like a train wreck, and you're watching it and you're thinking you can't not watch it, but this is only 4 weeks in, and I don't know if I personally could handle any more of it.
Oh, look, I know where you're coming from, Ben. So by way of disclaimer, this is, a real opinion, but I'm not a political analyst. So you can take my opinion however you want to take it. I don't know what's going on. I think if you look at Trump, you're right. He's not a politician. He's not even trying politics. He's doing what he knows and he likes, which is business. So in his mind, there's a business decision, and it's either a good deal, a very, very good deal, or it's a very, very bad deal. And there's I've done a lot of deals, and I know which is which, and there's no in between.
Yeah.
And so he's combative. He comes out and he says, right, I'm going to do this piece of legislation. And he goes ahead and does it. What I've found very interesting is he's used his first, I don't know how many days it is now, to put through a whole lot of legislation or sign a whole lot of presidential acts. I'm not quite sure how it works in the US.
I'd hazard a guess the legislation takes a lot longer than the 4 weeks he's been in.
He's done his presidential decrees. As I say, I'm not a political analyst, and I'm really not very expert on American things, but I've seen him signing. I've seen him signing all that paper. And, I also heard him at that press conference. He listed and said he'd done all these things. And, that's not a political kind of viewpoint traditionally. Traditionally, they'll go out, they prepare for a debate, they have a plan, all that sort of stuff. He's just picked, I don't know how many things, 50, 60, 100 things. He's treated them as individual deals, which he's done.
Yeah.
And he's now able to say, see, I did this, 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 and this, and this. So we've never seen anything like this before in terms of politics. This guy's not doing politics. He's doing business.
He's doing something. He's doing something.
He's doing business as a president or something. I'm confused about that as well. And once again, I'm only a spectator. And, apart from that, that's all I can say. The other weird side of it is there's such hostility against him. Yeah. And I don't think it's got anything to do with what he's doing, to be honest, even though some of his stuff is highly controversial and potentially certainly open to debate about whether or not it's a good way to act or not. And it's very personal. So,
but I'm actually wondering the why people are getting so fired up is that maybe he is doing these things, but he's creating, whether intentionally or not, distractions from it. So there were times in that press conference where, and the classic example was he had to go back and revisit I had such a big win during the election. And he unfortunately made that comment. It was the biggest electoral college victory since Reagan. And then immediately a reporter picked him up and said, oh, well, actually Obama got a bigger electoral victory than you twice. Bush got it. Bush won, the original one, had a 400 plus. You only had 305. And I thought the journalist then said something quite interesting. Well, he asked an interesting question in that he said, how is it that you can go out and say that everything we're saying is fake when you go out and say something that's factually false, and then we pick up on it, and then you complain and say it's all fake media and fake news? And that is the and I think that's the part that is getting people upset. I mean, it almost looks like he is doing nothing, because that's all and it's not just the media that's sort of flagging it as something to report on. He is actually instigating it as well.
Oh, look, yeah, although it's highly circular. I still haven't worked out if the errors that Trump makes when he quotes a figure or claims, makes a claim, I haven't worked out yet if he really just doesn't know what he's saying, and he just thinks that because he believes it must be so.
Well, it's the other one where he went out.
Whether he's doing it deliberately.
Yeah, well, it's like that one where he said the murder rate was the worst in 47 years when it was factually false, and has been picked up numerous times as being factually false, but he still will go out and punch it out because that's what he believes, and then his 35% of the voter base, cheers him on when he says it. And I think that's where, when we're looking at things like fake news, fake media, maybe you're right, it is a bit of a circular thing, but you do have, you've got a guy in the White House there that is instigating a lot of it. He's making that circle turn.
Oh yeah, and he's turning it to his advantage. Let's make no mistake about that. He doesn't care whether he's right or wrong, because it's just more grist for the mill. And it's right too for the media to call him out when he's wrong. Yeah. So I don't think there's any issue there. But what I, as a spectator, what I would actually like to see is the media actually do some investigation, not just call him up, but do some investigation. Has he got some person just saying, "Oh, Donald, yeah, this is the highest murder rate or whatever, or we're the most successful or whatever," and he just hears it over breakfast or over a cup of coffee with his advisors, and he just takes that on board, and then just says it, and then and this is the whole this is the essence of fake news. Is he deliberately and quite calculatedly putting these things out, knowing there's a dog whistle to the media? And because what I think the media hasn't quite got its head around is, in the old world, if a politician came out and said stuff like Trump is, and it's factually wrong, and they called out that politician, they can bring him down. Yeah. And that was always traditionally the role of the media, to keep that level of honesty, to keep that level of check in the system. This is no different to the Trump campaign or the Democrats versus Trump. You can hate the guy all you want. You can call him out all you want, but the guy just eats it. He's like, a Godzilla or something. He's stronger for it.
Yeah.
If you want to really catch him out because you believe he's doing something that's not right, you're going to have to rethink about how you do it.